Y'all better get your Janka ready. It's gonna be one of those days. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Big Bad Bench. My name is John, aka Big Bad Biologist, and today we're gonna probably injure myself with this exacto blade right here. But let me talk about how we got to this point, because it feels like one of those movies where you have to kind of rewind and talk about how you got here. So, right here, there's a computer. This is a Macintosh 2CI. Let's see. I think it'll tell us that if we hit end cycle. Yes, and so Macintosh 2CI, see, it's done like 17 and a half cycles of snooper, and it's all very happy. And if we go down to the Big Bad Bench and we look at this thing, you're like, why? How can this thing be happy? Let's shut this. Let me shut this down. Let's shut it down. Why do I even bother shutting it down? I can just power it off. But I'll show you the soft power works. Okay. So this Macintosh 2CI was one of two boards that Bacchus sent me, and this one was particularly battery bombed. And if we look at it, you can see that this is not how the RAM is not supposed to be like this. Let's look at it like you're looking at a board. So over here we have some SIP modification. These are homemade SIPs. These are not real SIPs. These are John's Jank SIP modules. And then we have these ones that are on stilts, okay? So as you could have seen from, also I posted a short this week showing this, but also from that snooper, that all 8 megs are recognized. They test fine. Everything's happy. I found some additional errors where there was a broken address line, or data bit 12, address line 0 was screwed up. I'm on my way. There's still a new bus problem with this board. If we look at the back, you probably can't see without the microscope. There's about 20 repaired traces on this board. And so this thing has seen a lot, but we're getting there. This part I still got to fix the bit over here with the battery if I want to use the battery. But aside from that, it seems to generally be working. So I bought SIMM slots to replace the originals that I took off, because the originals, you can see there was a bunch of corrosion underneath, and I needed to look for broken traces. And so I had to take the SIMM slots off, and in the process I destroyed the SIMM slots. They're not happy SIMM slots. And so I bought these guys to replace it, and these guys, oh look, it's a pair of SIMM, 30-pin SIMMs. You'd think, oh yeah, that'll work. Well, no. If we look closer, you can see that the spacing is very wrong. If you want to get technical, I can pull out the micrometer. We don't need this board anymore. Let's set you aside from now. Yes, Hardware Hacker says extra floating point capacity. I'll say hi to everyone in the chat very shortly. Sorry, I haven't said hi yet. I switched to millimeters. So the original, somewhere in the range of like 9 or 10 millimeters ish. I don't know, somewhere in that range. And then if we go over here, we're down to like 8 millimeters. So that's why I did this, because I still wanted to use these slots, but they didn't fit directly on the board. It does say how. No, it says MO, M-O for mode, if you want to go to metric or imperial. So people are like, well, why don't you just cut the slots apart? Francois Raval, who is in the chat here and is going to be responsible for me injuring myself with this exacto blade. Look at these things, right? Look at these slots. Oh, there's a little gap in between. You can snip those guys. Yeah, that'll work. What do we got here? There's no gap in between. So what we're going to try to do is modify this terrible Weller knockoff. It says Weller. It's not a Weller. Soldering iron, and I already modified this little tip. Okay, so what we're gonna do? I don't have a bandsaw, Steve. What do you think? I'm fancy. So we're gonna solder this exacto blade inside this tip and try to use this as a hot knife. So we're gonna see if that works. Also, the other suggestion was, well, why don't you just bend the pins out? Yeah, that kind of sort of works. When you have 20 some odd trace repairs going through vias and stuff, I did not want to dislodge anything. The other issue with this method is that these pins are really in here weakly. So I don't know. We'll try this. We'll try this. And so we have this SE30 logic board. I already desoldered 2 of the SIMM slots because they were bad. These had all broken. Let's see. This side looks fine. Yeah, this retention dealy there was wrong. It was removed. So, I mean, there's still a good one here, so it would have been fine. But then there was another one that the whole thing is just gone on that one, and I broke this after the fact. So this one needs replacement SIMM slot. So we're gonna try to fix this board today. I don't know if anyone remembers. This was the one that we got in, and it said 7 megs of RAM, and there was a memory error. Well, yeah, that was because there were 7 1 meg SIMMs, and you can't have 7 1 meg SIMMs, and that last SIMM was gone because the retention clip was broken. So anyway, all right, let's get started on this. I'll start taking this apart and putting this back together while I say hi to folks in the chat, because I have not said hi, and it's been a couple minutes now. So who do we got? We got Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. We got a Hardware Hacker. We got Chris Angelis and Francois Raval. Mac 84, Garth Beagle. Oh, Jack 68K. Asmodeus is here. Trina's Technobabble is here. Yes, hit that like button. Harley777, hello. Adam Baranek, hello. Justin D. Morgan is here. No, I'm not gonna remove the stilts. That board is done. This board is how it's gonna live its life. Well, I might remove the SIP things, because honestly, I need these SIP for a different board. If you can see that these are parity, these are for a 286 board. So I might wind up removing these and put in actual slots, SIM sockets there. Pins aren't long enough of bent. Yeah. So Adam Baranek says a really good point. You could use PCBWay or whatever your favorite PCB manufacturer is. And I think Francois had this idea too, to make a little interposer. And it would be a super easy interposer to design and build and have made, and it would be very cheap. But, well, it would be cheap to have each one made. But in the US, we're totally fucked because of the orange clown. If you were to order this and have it shipped in, you'd get hit with a really ridiculous tariff charge. And so right now, for me, it doesn't make any economic sense to order any little PCBs. And you know I like little designing, little silly PCBs. Hello, John Little. Who else is here? I think I saw everyone. If I missed you, say hi again. So yeah, what did I buy? Oh, the PCBs for HKZ's 68030. It was a $50 PCB order, and I got hit with a $45 tariff or something like that. It was totally ridiculous. So yeah, no PCBs for me anytime in the near future. Hello, Jean-Francois Perry. Okay, so this guy, I used my Dremel with a cutoff wheel, and I cut a little groove in there. I should probably make that groove. Oh man, Asmodeus is saying a $5 order with current shipping charges and Trump tax turns into $100. Yeah, that is ridiculous. Okay, so here's the part, the first part where we're gonna hurt ourselves. Should we zoom in a little bit more? So yeah, these PCBs would probably be like $1.50 each to have made up, but yeah, just doesn't work. All right, so this is saying it's heating up. So what I think we're gonna do, this can only end well, right? So I'm just using some pliers. Oh, look at that. That squeezed around there pretty nice. All right. So what happens if we toss a little flux on this guy? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Snoop Dogg is visiting again. Oh. So I currently have the soldering iron set to 400 degrees. I just did my whole exposition there, Gut Bomb. You're gonna have to turn around and listen again. I think I dropped an F-bomb too. Sorry about that, folks. This can only end well. There we go. There it goes. That is totally soldered on there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to drop the temperature down to about 200. Actually, let's drop it to 200 first. 200 should be a pretty good plastic cutting temperature. It should be at about like a temperature where the plastic gets kind of melty but not like super burny. And it should not allow the solder to melt. The solder should stay solid and keep that thing attached there. Yeah, that's the issue with this iron, is that the temperature regulation was really bad. All right, so I think my goal is going to be to go along this line right here. The back socket is, there's just like a little there. Justin says to please warn us before you actually start cutting so the squeamish among us can look away just in case. Yeah, the squeamish among you might just want to skip this stream. I have a feeling that the bodily injury is likely to occur a lot, incessantly. That solder is still molten, which means that we are not at 200 degrees, even though the soldering iron is telling us that. Let's go down to 165. Yeah, that's a good idea too, Steve, to preheat the plastic. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have access to that kind of thing. I'm not going to apply too much pressure. One, because I really don't want to injure myself. Oh. Well, this seems to be some heat-resistant plastic. So that's great. Yeah, 165 is not really cutting it. Literally. That was kind of a joke. Maybe wrap some copper wire around it. Yeah. What's our... Yeah, our solder is solid now. All right, let's go up to 175. I didn't mean that to be a joke, but it did wound up being a joke. Not cutting it. I'm hilarious. So yeah, if I had a really fine bandsaw, like you need a really fine bandsaw to cut this thing. I mean, look at how thin that gap is, right? Well, here's our exacto blade. Like, what? Maybe 2 or 3 exacto blades thick on this. 175. Not great. Let's go up to 185. So again, as I always say, don't do anything that you see me do here. I'm a friggin' idiot. This is purely for science reasons. It's not smelling like burning yet, so that means we're not quite doing it right. So let's go up to 195. Is the tip hot even? That's a good question, Garth. And you know what? I'm not gonna use my finger to find out. Oh, do I have I think might have like a thermometer around here. All right, one moment, please. Keep an eye on this. Make sure this doesn't go flying across the room. This is for something else. All right, let me know if that moves. Oh, there's my thermometer. All right, this isn't an ideal thermometer for this situation. It's kind of big. Yeah, no, this isn't gonna cut it either. All right, let's go up. Nowhere to go but up. Kapam's on his way. He's like, this is getting bad even for me. Oh, I do feel like that we're starting. I think we're starting. All right, let's. Nope, come on up. Okay. Back up to 200. Maybe the solder won't melt. I wish I could use my thermal cam to help us here, but that's not gonna be possible. Oop. Dang. Does everyone watch Project Runway? Did everyone get the reference? I know Trina got the reference. The Make It Work. I love Tim Gunn in Project Runway. The best part of that show was before they decided that he was too old and that they wanted to do fresher stuff. Who has an idea? Wire wrap the blade on and jack the heat way up so that the heat can reach the tip. Yeah. We could also, all right, let's try the wire wrap idea. We could also just try the Dremel. Let's just not be silly for a moment. We could do this. Yeah, that kind of works. Now I'm going to have white plastic everywhere. Oh, I'm doing this on the wrong one. Ah, crap. Ooh. What do you think? I do not have a coping saw. So, I guess what I should do, I guess I'll be a little less janky and mark this off a little bit. Uh-oh. My measuring implement is gone. I don't have a measuring implement. Okay, here's a straight edge. Hello, Mike Hawk. Yeah, put it in a microtome, put it in some parafilm, and then put it in a microtome. Yeah, that would work. That wouldn't only take 6,000 hours. All right, so let's put a line on this. So, oh, the other option, I could also weld the tip on. We could try that option. Yeah, once that's cooled down, maybe we'll try the weld the tip option on. Okay. Yeah, that smells awful. Oh. And also, you might notice here, the way this is spinning, it's actually throwing stuff right in my face. That's not the direction you should be doing this. Woo! This is going great. We're almost there. There we go. Whew. Okay, what did I miss? First time I used the Dremel on plastic, I was cutting an HDMI hole into an NES. It didn't go well. Yeah, you gotta be careful. You gotta... Ideally, actually, I have a better tip for this. This is like some kind of a diamond crusted tip. It actually works a little bit better for plastic, but it's about twice as thick. And I was trying to keep that as thin as possible. So there you go. You can see that we did not successfully keep both slots. We've now solved into the pins on the other side. So that's bad. But this one's good. This would work fine. It's ugly as sin. But, you know, it worked. We could use a Dremel. Ooh. clean that up a bit. Use a vice, damn it. We know you have one. Come on, where is your sense of adventure? I said that to a friend earlier this week. She's like, "Do you know how to assemble bikes?" I was like, "No, I've never done it, but I'm happy to give it a shot." And she's like, I'll probably just pay someone to do it." I was like, "Where's your sense of adventure?" So I don't know. That was quite a bit of work to do that. We haven't mangled the pins though, so that's a plus. No, that they normal. Oh, yeah, no, that goes like that. Okay, yeah, that one should go in there. Oh, look, the way this goes, the ugly part's up front now. Oh, ugly part. Not a fan. Not a fan of that. Hey, Bacchus. So yeah, we could sandpaper it. All right, so here's the other option. So this was the bending it out option. The issue is that these pins are not held in here very tightly. If you notice, the little clampy things are wiggling all over the heck. And you gotta get it just perfectly lined up. And I don't know, I think I might have got this one close. So you can kind of wiggle it back and forth. I'm making sure that I'm putting the right side there, yeah. Gotta make sure you put your SIMMs in the right way because they only work one way. Yep. Nope, that one's too out of whack. You can see there's a couple there that are wonky. So yeah, that's the issue, is if you gank on these things too hard, they'll just fall right out of the socket. So you got to make sure that when you're bending them, you get the right pressure all around. So try and, I apologize if this isn't the best thing to look at. There we go. Okay, I got one row in. And this other row fell in pretty easily. But if you see, that first pin is way out. There's all kinds of little plinking noises. That actually kind of worked. Hey, it's K-Koba. You missed the scary bits. All right. That actually looks like it kind of sort of worked. These pins are not all the way through, but they don't need to be, as long as they're somewhat through. All right, let's put this under the microscope and let's see what we're working with. Let's see if we can solder this up before it falls apart. It's like stock. Yeah, not quite. Where's my microscope? There we go. Yeah, you can see, oh, we got danger implements still plugged into the soldering iron. Speaking of just like, hit the like button if you wouldn't mind. That would be swell. If you're into watching some guy act stupid on the interwebs, potentially injure himself for your entertainment. All right, let's get that back on. Let's look at this while my soldering iron is reheating. This implement of doom. Look at that. That was a thing, and we almost made it. We almost made that thing. I think we're gonna try to come back and weld that. We're gonna weld that for sure, for sure. All right. Oh, wrong tip. Francois says to just do 3 rounds of copper. The issue is it's not that tight. Like it's not very close. There we go. That's soldered. That's soldered. Just gonna do a few of these real quick. And then I want to take a look at the other side and make sure all the pins are actually down. If we look here, these things can get kind of wonky. They lose their alignment. But they all seem to be relatively in place. All right, let's get these soldered up before they go anywhere. So to me, it seems like just bending the pins over is best. Again, I wouldn't do that on that 2CI board because there's just so many repaired traces on that thing. There's so many little pieces of wire running through the vias that I'd be really scared of going in on these angles like this and dislodging some of the work that I just did. We're using giant wire here just because I'm trying to conserve my 0.4 millimeter. So I haven't been able to find a good source for a reasonable price. These are not the prettiest solder joints. But what do you expect? We have things going halfway through the vias. This is not going to be the prettiest solder job. What temperature is the iron set to? Clean your tip, John. Jesus, people. But yeah, I think a little interposer spacer dealy would probably be the best option for this, to utilize these, because I did buy way too many of these. Oof. But for what we have to pay for tariffs, an interposer is just not gonna be financially viable for me right now for this kind of stupidity. So, I don't know why my brain thought of this right now, but I've been trying to get computers posted for sale this week, just because I got to get rid of some stuff. I have way too many things. And so I posted a Classic 2 and a SE, and a guy emailed me this morning. We were talking on the phone, and he wants to buy both of them because he has a business that still uses old Macintoshes like that. Some sort of a yarn business, and they have machines that run based off of the old Mac OS, and they haven't been able to get any modern solutions to work. And so he needs these to get his business working. He wants to bring me his old machines and take a look at them and see if I can fix them too, which is very cool. It's one thing, to be collectors and have fun things, but to actually put these guys to use, that was very cool. So I can't wait to talk to that guy more. Just a little story while we do some hardcore soldering. Hardware Hacker says there's a VIA with nothing in it. Yeah, that's where there's like a plastic pin that helps locate stuff. I cut the pins off of this particular pair of sockets, so they're not through there. They're a little bit of structural integrity, but not a whole lot. Okay. Let's go back out here. Full frontal soldering. Yes. All right. Oh, not that. Here we go. Let's zoom out a skosh. Okay. So, what are we going to use? We are going to use... Oh, man. I remembered what to call it before the stream again. Ron's Peekadilly. See, Ron doesn't come up with easy names like K, like the SP to SD. Like, that's a good name. Ron, this is the Pico Micro. No, that's a different product. Oh, all my flux is leaking out. The PicoVid SE, yeah. The PicoVid. I gotta remember it that way. Oh, there's little bits of white plastic everywhere. Oh, this was the other issue with these, right? You put a SIMM in a regular socket, it fits nicely, you click it over. Even though these are plastic, I have added a little bit of deoxit, and so it kind of lubricates it. But these ones, they're so tight together that even with these little tiny SIMMs, it's very hard to fit them down in there. And I don't, even though they're metal, they don't like clip very nicely. Maybe these need a little deoxit lubrication as well. Okay, there we go. Need one of these guys. Microphone. Oh, we need an ATX power supply. Where's my ATX power supply? Okay. Oh yeah, we may as well plug in our SE30 peaker from Rudy. Again, product name that makes sense. Oh, speaking of Ron, he released a new video today, interview with John, oh shoot, what's the guy's last name? I'm not gonna remember. Really good interview. Make sure to go check out Ron's, John Couch, there we go. Make sure to go check that out. Really interesting interview. He was part of the team that designed the Lisa and a bunch of other Mac innovation throughout the years. Okay, here we go. 3. Oh, there we go. I'll cut this out of the way. 3, 2, 1. Yay, chime. Oh, I guess I should have put a blue SCSI on. We got main screen turn on. All right, cool. Let's put in a blue SCSI and see if we get all of our RAMs. I would think if we're getting chime that we're gonna see all of our RAMs, but whatever. My TV seems to be a little bit out of whack. Oh, no, we can see all 4 rounded corners. Okay, that's good. That's good. Look at those blinking lights blink. Oh, I love that thing. So everyone remember this blinking pattern so that if you have a problem in that blinking pattern, you know exactly what's wrong with your Mac. Boop. Or booting. Jack 60UK, which PSU is that? It does -5 volts. No, it doesn't do -5 volts. We modified the Pico Vid SE to have the -5 volt regulator. We added a 7905 to it. About 16 megs of RAM. We currently don't have mode 32 running, but let's do that. Enabled. Come on, do the thing. So this happened on my other computer too. I have a feeling I screwed up my image again. I just re-put my image on here, and I think from futzing around with the 2CI board, I screwed it up again. Yeah, it does that. Yep. That's what it do. Let's reset. No, we need to do a full-on power off. All right, while that's going, let me find my welder. It's right here where I left it. So this is a little battery welder dealy. It's not particularly strong, but it does a thing. Welding batteries does sound unsafe, but it is safer than soldering batteries. So that's what we have. Are you guys seeing like a weird reflection in the up over there? Oh yeah, my image is angry now. Oh man, what did I do? Oh, is it a spider web? Yeah, I do. There it is. Thanks, Steve. I have a MIG welder too, but it's a bit too big to weld a exacto blade. Oh yeah, I hosed that. I hosed that. Oh man. All right, 1 minute. Let's switch back to here. All right, we gotta switch images. Let's go old school. Blue Scuzzy V1. Hopefully this is an image that boots. I forget what's on that one. It probably doesn't have mode 32 though. Yeah, it's a little faster. Oh, that was system 6. Does this 7.1? It doesn't have mode 32. Oh well. Whatever. We see that we got 16 megs working, so this kind of worked. I mean, it works. It definitely works. Oh, I should have told it. Oh, why did I do that? Yeah, HFS gets unhappy if you unceremoniously. What extension provides the rotating globe over the Apple menu? I don't know, but we can look the next time we power this on. All right, so let me show you how I bent those pins, because that seems to be the way that I'm gonna have to do this. But we'll also try welding up this. This thing. Oh man. Okay. Gosh, we made a mess. So I don't like the Dremel separation technique. This has already reconnected itself. That's on there. Hey, Callan. Yeah, you missed all the fun. There was something that some people might consider fun. We used the Dremel. We used the hot knife that didn't get hot. Well, we made a hot knife, but it didn't get hot, so we can't really call it a hot knife. But I don't know. I had a good time. What do you all think? What temperature is this going up to now? It was a lukewarm knife, yeah. Let's go. Let's bring this up to 350. So what I want to do is get this straightened out. There we go. Our solder has melted. Gotta squish this a little bit. There we go. Squish you on there. Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna shut that off. And then, yeah, it was hot enough to melt solder, but not hot enough to melt plastic. Okay, so just gonna let that cool off for a moment. And let's see, do we have a steel brush around here? There we go. Let's zoom in so you can see some silliness. So this is my battery welder guy. You don't want to touch these things together when you're not ready. Let's go out just a skosh. All right, so while that's cooling down, we're gonna clean this off. Oh, yeah, that's gross. Yep, yep. That solder is still melted even though the iron is off. This can only end well. Okay, continue to cool off. Goggles, gloves, yeah, totally. If you do this kind of work, you should totally wear goggles and gloves. And drink beer. That is correct. Do not drink beer when operating hot and or sharp implements, including welders. And a vise. A vise would be a great idea too. I wish we had a vise around here. It's not like we ever used one on stream before. Okay, are you solid yet? Okay, there we go. Gonna clean this up. So I bought this battery welder because I wanted to learn how to repair batteries, right? There's a lot of things nowadays where the batteries are starting to die. And I've fixed one thing, but it really hasn't paid itself off yet. It was like 80 bucks or something on Amazon. But I bought this one because it said it had 80 gears. I'm like, it has 80 gears. It means it has to be good if it has 80 gears, and I still don't know what it means by 80 gears, but whatever. Oh no, are you dead? Oh, there it is. Okay, no, we got battery. We got battery. So we're on gear 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess we only have 8 gears. We're going full on 8 gears here. 8 gears. Alright. Hey, David Starbuck. Alright, so now what we do is we don't touch these together. We touch these onto the thing that we want to weld. These things have plastic coating on them so that you don't shock yourself. So put this on one side where you want it to go. Put this on the other one. And there. See, that was the little weld. Not a whole lot of juice to this thing. Ooh, that was a good one. Probably if I took this out to my MIG and hit it with a weld, it would probably be fine. Alright, let's take a look in the microscope and see if that actually did anything. Yeah, I don't think it did. I don't think that's strong enough. See the little dots it puts everywhere? Yeah. Well, that's a shame. Hot glue now. Hot glue next. Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. So what else did we? Who else had ideas? Francois said to wrap wire around it, which, you know, that's a good idea too. Can you braze it? Yeah, theoretically brazing would work. I don't have an iron or a torch though. Ooh, that's still hot. Rubber bands might hold it on. Yeah, that would work. I think in order to do this right, we'd have to use a real welder, because that little guy just did not cut it. Well, let's see what happens when we hose clamp, zip ties. Alright, let's shut this guy off so we don't accidentally shock ourselves. But this does work pretty nice for welding the little what is it, zinc strips onto batteries. Let's grab another one of these guys out. Let's see if that did anything. Let's put our temperature at 300. 300 would melt the solder. Oh yeah. You can actually see the solder moving. And that the blade just moved. So if we welded that with a real welder, it might actually work. It might actually, because that just put a little bit of a heat mark in there. I wasn't pushing real hard. So that might be an option. But yeah, I was trying to make a little hot knife so that we could separate out these. All right, so that's not gonna cut it. Oh well, that's a shame. Let me show you how I bent the pins on the socket that we did install here. So this was a fiddly process. It almost took as long. So this is like a little, I don't know, flash metal bender dealy. So we already cut one apart with the Dremel. That's why that Dremel's there, and that's what that looks like. So it worked. It's just not real pretty. But we can leave them in place, and so you can put this on here like that, and just do that. And that's the easiest way to get them all similar. Ow. Ow. Oh, I just put it into my hand. Ow. Yeah, I have a big boy welder. Oh, yep, see, and I bent a pin. This doesn't work. This doesn't work great. See, it's starting to go out. Ooh. So then once you start getting them bent out, then you can use like these guys and bend them over a little further. And then when they're, oh, I had a bunch of solder in there from when we were doing the thing. Then once you have them bent over like that, oh, then they fall out. And then you can bend them like that. So that's the way to do it. So that was tedious. And again, for these, like, these all want to fall out and do weird stuff. So, look, I just wasted that one. So you got to be careful because these start moving around. So this one's trash now, but whatever. We'll cut it off. Make that one be a pair. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with, and that's why I still think this is the best strategy. I think this strategy worked best out of everything. It was easiest. I had a bunch of the wire from other projects that I recycled. So this worked fine. The reason it didn't initially work, if you happen to be on Dave's stream last Sunday when I tried it first, there was actually a solder bridge that I missed that was in there. And then there was actually one more bad trace on the back down here that I needed to repair. And as David Starbucks says, yes, your other option is to just buy the right parts. Unfortunately, these ones were cheap. The right ones are much more expensive. So I bought the wrong ones accidentally. Don't want to waste them, so I'm going to use them. I have a feeling what I'm going to do is take off these SIP ones and do more of these wire bridges on the rest of those. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. So yeah, well, we fixed something today. We put some real sockets on this SE30 board. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today. I gotta do some stuff. Might meet a dude and sell him a couple old computers. That would be cool. As Jack68K says, if you're going to have a board that has SIMM sockets that are suspended by red enameled wire, you want all 8 to match, right? Jack is a human that gets me. You get me, Jack. All right, I think we're going to call it. Hit the like button if you wouldn't mind. That would be swell. As always, I appreciate the heck out of all of you, and Have a lovely week, you all. Oh, actually, I think I'm going to try to do a Wednesday stream, a Wednesday afternoon stream again this week, because I have a Apple IIc that is completely disassembled that I need to put back together, and I have a Commodore 128 that needs to be tested, and I've never worked on a Commodore 128, and I know I have to take it apart because it has a bad key plunger dealy, and I gotta fix that. So yeah, check the social medias, and I'll update when I have a time for that. All right, thank you all. Have a great week, and as we always say at the Big Bad Bench, if you're a Trumper, go F yourself. Bye, y'all. Janka.